Good morning, my lovely tens. Right, buddies, here we go. The next lesson in our amazing similarity and congruence unit. It's going to be a really good one. I think you're going to like it. It's a little bit more challenging today, but my goal, as always, is try to make the video a little bit shorter, but I reckon I might actually be able to pull that off today and give you guys lots and lots of chance to practice. I'm really excited to see you guys in again next week, so it'll be nice to actually see you in person rather than just doing the videos, but you guys have been so fantastic throughout the entire lockdown stuff. I don't think you've missed out at all. I'm really excited just to see you, just because I want to see everybody, but I think you've done such good learning at home. I'm just really pleased with how everything has gone. So really good work, lovelies. Cool. Now, here we go. For today, I actually thought, even though I've made these slides for you today and you're at home, I still thought let's do a starter because it's been a few lessons since we've done congruence, my lovelies, and I just wanted to make sure you remember what that is. So congruence, again, is showing that one triangle is exactly equal to another. Like, they could be rotations of each other, but the triangle has to be the same size and the same shape, which means it's got all the same side lengths and all the same angles. Cool beans, buddies? Okay. So here's the thing, there's a whole bunch of congruence criteria, and you didn't want to memorize them all, or any of them, and so you just remembered there's two things you can't use to show a triangle is congruent, and do you remember what those two things are? Yeah, you can't be like, ass. That's the one thing, my lovelies, that doesn't make congruence. So, bearing that in mind then, so you can show something's oh my gosh, there's the bell, you lucky ducks. Yeah. No idea why that's on, even though it's only teachers in the school, but that's all right. Yeah, so anyway, we can use these congruence criteria then, my buddies, and yeah, let's do it. So I want you to try this question all on your own. It says the triangle PQR is an isosceles triangle, blah, 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 blah. Use congruent triangles to prove that SQ equals QR. Okay, SQ equals QR, showing that they're equal. How are you going to do it, my buddies? Well, you're going to label in this triangle, and you're going to show the left one is equal to the right one. Then it gives you some side lengths, and then you can solve it. So I would like you to challenge yourself. I'd like you to push pause right now and see if you can do it. I will take it up, though, in a sec. So you ready? Pause, go. Okay, and you're back. So let's do it, my folks. Let's see if we can prove it. Let's see if we remember. So let's do A together to begin with. Use congruent triangles to prove that SQ equals QR. So it wants to show that that is equal to that. That's what it's on about. It wants to show those two things. Right. So if the left triangle equals the right one, then we're sorted. So first things first is, well, we've got this. We know that that's a right angle as well because it comes down. And we know that this side is shared between the two. So could I do a side, and an angle, or an angle, and a side, and show that they're congruent like that? Could I be like, they're congruent by, starting at the bottom right, A, S, S. No, we can't, because that's ass. That's the one that's not allowed. Ass and ah are not allowed. So no, we can't show it's congruent with that. So we've got to be a little bit more crafty. So here we go. To start with, this yellow side is going to match up with this yellow side for sure, because it's given that they're equal. Next thing next is this is a shared side on both, and that's cool too. Now, there's one final thing that we can show, my buddies. It does say that it is an isosceles triangle. So what does that mean when you split an angle at the top, but it's an isosceles triangle? So isosceles, again, means that the two bottom angles are the same, which means, what is it going to mean about the top angle if you split it in half? Well, yeah, it's going to mean this. So these two guys here are going to be equal as well. So because it did say the word prove, let's actually write that out. So we're going to say, starting off with, angle QPS is equal to angle RPS. And why? Because of ISOCELES. I sat on Sam's cat. Everyone laughed except Sam. Yep, got it. And isosceles triangles, that's why. That's why. So it's isosceles triangle, that's why. Cool? And that means, my buddies, that here's what we've got. From yellow to red to green, I have SAS. So that's perfect. Again here, yellow to red to green, SAS. So, triangle, look at this, is really posh now, isn't it? We're using the formal notation. QPS, we'll do more of this later too. QPS is equal to triangle, RPS, PS, because, and what was the angle thing that we used? Well, SAS, because of a bit of SAS. Boom. So, QR is equal to SR. So you've just shown that they're equal. How exciting, my buddies! So that's it written really formally. If you've not got it written really formally, that's okay. I didn't expect you to be able to write it formally yet. We're going to do proofs and stuff a little bit later on. But if you had the general idea of that's how you do it, really good work. Okay, now for part B, it says PQ is 10, so that's this length here. That's 10 centimeters. And QR is 12, so the whole distance is 12 centimeters. But because you just showed that the left one equals the right one, that means this is 6 centimeters. And now it wants us to work out the area of triangle PQR. Well, you guys know for a triangle, it's just going to be a half times base times height. We got the base, which is 12 all the way across, or 6 for the left-hand triangle if you want to double it. We just need to get the height. So how are we going to get the height? If we've got a 10 there and a 6 there and a right angle. That's it, buddies. It is Pythagoras' theorem. So let's do it. Get the height. Well, I hope that you got the height. And I hope you got this. I hope you got that 10 squared, because that's the c squared, is going to equal 6 squared plus h squared. Which means 100 is equal to 36 plus h squared. Take 36 off both sides. 64 equals h squared. So square root both sides, h equals 8 centimeters. So you just worked it out. That's h equals 8 centimeters. Cool beans. So then you can get the area straight away. So here we go, buddies. How exciting. Area equals, and I'm going to do the whole triangle, okay? So you could do each triangle, the left and the right, and then once you have the left and the right, you could add the two together or just double it or whatever, but I'm going to do the whole triangle. So it's a half, and the whole base is 12, and the height was 8. So here we go. Half of 12 is 6 times 8 is 48, like a boss. And there you go, my folks. So I hope that that's okay, and I hope that you remember congruence. That's just an example of a hard one, but we're going to do a revision lesson with this a bit later on, and make sure you're all pro, even if you weren't sure. Okay, so here we go. Title for today's lesson is Tricky Similarity Questions. Now, the only thing I've done to make these tricky is to have some variables in it. It's just got x's in. That's the only difference. So you ready? We're going to do it in the same way. So remember how we did these guys as well. We did some lovely coloring in, okay? So, oops. So in this bad boy here, which A we'll do together. I'll see if you can do B, but we'll do A together. First things first is you get the angles colored in so you know which sides match which, okay? So the top angle, the one that's beside A, is shared between two triangles, the top one and the whole one. Cool? Angle D, well, it's its own angle, so there you go. And which one's equal to D again? Yeah, that's it. The one that's near B is equal to it, and that's because of F pattern. It's because of corresponding angles, right? You can see that there's an upside down F there, so B and D are the same angle. Now, same deal here between C. C is going to be the same as E, because you have an F here that is backwards. Cool beans? Cool. Because now we can do the thing, my buddies. Do you remember how we got the scale factor previously? Remember how we do the scale factor, then we times or divide? Well, here's the thing that I'm going to show. Oh, actually, we could just... okay. I'm going to do this in a harder way. This one's got a shortcut. I'm gutted. I've given you one with a shortcut instantly. But I'm going to give you a cool trick. Normally what you did, buddies, is you did the scale factor. So you said how many times bigger the big one is than the small one. And then what you did is you times that by the small one or whatever you had to do to get the other angle. That's how we did it last time. Now, you can skip a step out here by just comparing two sides directly. Okay, so rather than doing the scale, well, let's just do it both ways. Okay, so here you go. The old way, which is actually the easier way, is this. You get the scale factor. Start with the big. You usually did big over small, right? So we usually did big over small because we like that. It makes it easier. And you say, right, find me two matching sides. Well, between green and blue, or between blue and green, is matching up, yeah. So there's a 4 and there's a 20. So it's just going to be 20 over 4, which makes a scale factor of 5. Cool beans? The scale factor is 5. Which means, my buddies, that we've got a bit of a trick here. Yeah, okay, actually this is not going to work. I'm happy again. Okay, so that means that when you compare it to the other sides, here's what you're going to have to do. If the scale factor is 5, that means that when we do big over small on this side, so we go, well, how long is the big side on this whole right-hand side between yellow and green? And yellow and green, how long is the whole side? Well, if you said it's x plus 10, you're right. Cool? Now, this is the tricky part. It's going to be x plus 10 over x equaling 5. Now, I think that's harder than the way I was just going to show you. Yeah, so essentially, this is what we've done. We've just done big over small again, okay? We've done big over small with these sides, but unfortunately, there's been algebra in. Cool? Right then, let's keep solving it. Times both sides by x, so times x, and you're going to be left with this. It's going to be x plus 10 here, and 5x here. Pop that 5x over, you're going to get 10 equals 4x, which means that x is equal to 10 over 4, which is 5 over 2, which is good as a final answer, or 2.5, if you'd like that answer as well. And that's the answer to the question. Okay, actually, I think that's harder. So I just said, oh, I hate it, there's a shortcut here. I think that's harder, so do you want to do the new way, which I think is actually easier. That makes me pleased, actually. I've had a roller coaster of emotions on this question. Okay, the easier way, my buddies, is like this. What I would suggest is you just compare two triangles. You go big over small, and then big over small, okay? So you ready? Here we go. Starting off with, let's do the algebra. Let's do the side that we don't know, okay? So the entire length, the one that's between green and yellow, so here we go, yellow with green, that side there, let's do big over small. Well, if we do big over small there, the big side is going to be 10 plus x. Cool? The small side is just x. Cool? Get me? 10 plus x over x. Now, on the other side, the one that's going to go from blue to green, on this side here, we're just going to do big over small again. So what's the big side that's between blue and green? Well, 20. And the big side that's between blue and green on the top? Well, 4. I reckon that might skip a step, my buddies. Cool. Because actually you get 10 plus x over x equals 5. And then as soon as you do that, look, it's going to be exactly the same as there. Now we're back into the purple business. So then that becomes that. So you've got it. So it's going to be 10 plus x. 10, over x, that is. 10 plus x over x. You're going to get 10 plus x equals 5x, and then you're going to get that 10 equals 4x, and then x equals 2.5. So a lot harder, my buddies, but I hope that you've got it kind of down. Cool. Now, here's a more typical one. B is a bit of a more normal one. First things first is let's get all the angles labeled. Oops. Well, that, my buddies, is shared on both sides, so here we go. That's yellow, and this is yellow. Okay. And if I color this one blue, opposite A, which other one is going to be blue? Well, yeah, it's actually the one at D, isn't it? Because in this case, you've got a Z angle, so up, across, up. So it's that one. The E one can be green, and that means this one's green. And let's do it. Let's do it in the new way only, okay? So we're just going to do the new way, because that's going to be easier in the end. So here we go, the new way only. First things first, let's do the big triangle, which is the left one. So we're going to go big, yeah, let's do it. So here we go, between blue and yellow. Let's go between blue and yellow first. So blue, yellow, we're going to compare first. Now, on the blue yellows, we're going to get x plus 6, because that's the big one. Oops, I want that in orange, though. We're going to go x plus 6, because that's the big one. Yeah? And we're going to compare that to 12. Now, on the other side that we know about, this is going to be the one that we know everything about. It's the blue-green side with the angles. So it's the one that goes from blue to green on both. Well, we're going to go big over small again there. So this time it's going to be x, because the left triangle is the big one, over 4. Cool beans. That's more of a standard question. Right then, my buddies, and here's where the extra trick comes in. What do we do to get rid of the fractions because it's too awkward with fractions? What can I times both sides by? Well, if you said 12, you are absolutely right, my buddies. So here we go. 12 on both sides because 4 goes into both of these numbers and 12 goes into both. It goes into 12 as well. And here we go. Cancel, cancel. And that 12 turns into a 1. Cancel there, and that becomes a 3. So it becomes x plus 6 times 1, which is just going to be x plus 6. And on this side here, it'll be x times 3, which is going to be 3x. Cool beans? So 6 equals 2x. So x equals 3, like a beast, my lovelies. So I hope you like it. The trick is you just compare matching sides, big over small with the first triangle, and big over small with the second triangle. Cool. Final one that I want you to try by yourself, is going to be this one here. So you have a go at it. You have to be really careful which side matches which. And then I'm going to give you a chance to practice, okay? So what I suggest right now is just pause the video and tell me what x is equal to. Go. Okay, and you're back. So let's see how you've done. Hopefully, start off by coloring the angles or labeling them somehow. That matches with that. Okay, the blue one here, if I put that beside D, it's going to be down to the one that goes beside B, and it's because of alternate angles, Z angles, zangles. So that's it. Same deal here. The green E one is going to be the same as this bottom one because of Z angles again. So that's it. Cool. Here's what you should have got, my buddies. You should have done, well, either big over small. Should we do big over small again? Let's do it. Let's go x. So the bottom triangle is the big one. So I'm going to do the bottom triangle first. It's going to be x over, and what is the one that matches with x between green and blue on the other triangle? Yeah, that's it. It's x minus 3. And then, my lovelies, we need another matching side. So between blue and yellow, which numbers go between blue and yellow? Yeah, you've got it. 4 and 10, right? The 5 is just there to throw you off. So it's 4 and 10. You got it. So here we go. We're going to then start with, we did the big triangle first, so we're going to do the big triangle again first. 10 over, and it's going to be 4. Cool beans? Right then, my buddies. Let's keep going. We're going to get x over x minus 3 on this side. 10 divided by 4, I am going to use a decimal, I think, this time. Or do I want to support your fraction skills? I'll use a decimal this time, and then I'm going to redo the question to support your fraction skills. 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. What are we going to do next, my lovelies, to both sides? How do I get rid of the fraction? How do I get rid of an x minus 3? Well, you got it. You times by an x minus 3. By both sides by x minus 3. Cool? Because once you've done that, they're gone. And what's on the left is just an x. What's on the right? Well, you got to times it out like a bracket. 2.5 times x is 2.5x, and 2.5 times minus 3 is minus 7.5, I believe. Cool. Rightio, next step, let's get the numbers and letters on their own. I'm going to move the 7.5 to the left-hand side. First of all, I'm going to do this. I'm going to plus 7.5. Oops, different color. I want to plus 7.5 first of all. Plus 7.5, plus 7.5. And also take away, actually stop skipping steps. So let's go. So it'll be x plus 7.5 equals 2.5x. Then I'm going to take away x from both sides. Take x. And then we're going to get 7.5 equals 1.5x. And then it's going to be divide both sides by 1.5, 7.5 over 1.5. Calculator jobby now. 7.5 divided by 1.5. 5. So there you go. 5 centimeters, like an absolute boss. So I hope you got that. I hope that you feel good about that. I'm going to do one small thing. So really, if you're happy with that, you're welcome to give this next little explanation a skip. But I want to support your fractions. So you ready? That's not how I would have done this question. I would have done it in way fewer steps. Do you want to see it with way fewer steps? Yeah, you do. So here we go. Starts off the same. So here we go. Let's do the green to blue. So it's going to be x over x minus 3, definitely. Okay? What that's going to equal to, it's going to be 10 over 4. Okay, here's what I would do. Just like I taught you earlier in the year when we simplified fractions, I want to kill both fractions now in this step. I don't want it to be hard, so I just want to kill it in this step. So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to bodge these two together. Do you remember when we did that, when we simplified fractions? And we're going to times by this. We're going to times by the two of them bodged together. It's going to be 4 bracket x minus 3. The two of them smushed up. Cool? And you're going to do the same to both sides to keep it fair. Now this is how I would do it, my lovelies. This would be the Mr. Wade way. Now what's going on? Well, you can cancel. Whoosh, whoosh. Okay? And the same deal here. You can cancel too. Whoosh, whoosh. The 4s are gone. Okay? Now here's, oops, whoosh. Okay, so there you go. Now here's what we got then. On the left-hand side, you're just going to be left with x times 4, which is 4x. Oh, this way is so much tidier. On this side here, we're going to get 10 times x, which is 10x. And you're going to get 10 times minus 3, which is minus 30. Cool beans? Let's move the 10x to the other side. So let's take away 10x off both sides again. Take 10x, take 10x. And you're going to be left with then minus 6x equals minus 30. What's minus 30 divided by minus 6? Well, 5. Boom. I think that's easier. I don't know if you think that's easier or not. It's technically harder because this is like a level 8 skill that we've got going on here, and this hasn't involved anywhere near that level of skill. But I actually think that's easier, you know, and I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave it up to you. However you'd like to do it is cool. I suggest black, but if you want to do purple, it's cool too. Cool beans? Right then, my folks, here's what I'm going to get you guys to do. I want you to have a little go at this sheet, first of all. So there's 8 questions there. They won't take very long, okay, because as you know, it takes me a long time to explain, but it doesn't take you a long time to do. So try to get this entire sheet done. When you finish that, do as many as you can on this sheet here, which there's 8 questions of as well. You might well be able to do them all. Actually, I think you probably will still do them all, because you do have a lot of time left in the lesson. But try these exam questions too. The exam questions are actually easier than this sheet, so that's why I want you to do the sheet first, and then you can chill out with some exam questions, my buddies. Yeah, as soon as you're done, get it all submitted for me, single PDF on Google Classroom, and that's it. So that's it from me, my buddies. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week, and talk to you later. Bye, buddies!